It is a pleasure to celebrate the excellence in arts, culture, and creativity in our community with all of you. My name is Stephanie Blake. I'm a commissioner and co-chair on the Commission for Cultural Affairs.
And I'm Bobby Lefebvre. I'm also a co-chair on the Commission of Cultural Affairs. Stephanie and I will be your hosts for the awards this evening or afternoon. But before we begin, we'd like to bring up Ginger White, who is the Deputy Director of Arts and Venues, to say a few words. Ginger.
Hi, good afternoon. This is always one of my favorite events of the year, and I think it comes at a perfect time of year when we really think about Thanksgiving and all of the great things that we do together as a community to really lift up our community. So and it's with great Thanksgiving that I appreciate you all spending your time with us this afternoon, celebrating those organizations that do great work for our community. Again, my name is Ginger White. I'm Deputy Director for Denver Arts and Venues. And as I hope you already know, we're a city agency that is privileged to be the stewards of many of Denver's unique and iconic cultural assets, including Red Rocks Amphitheater, the Denver Performing Arts Complex, the Denver Coliseum, and the Colorado Convention Center, as well as this newly reopened great space, the McNichols Building in Civic Center Park. So thank you for being here. How do you like the space? We love it too, and we're grateful to be back. I want to recognize real quickly not only Bobby and Stephanie, who are our co-chairs as well as our MCs for this afternoon, but all of the commissioners that are in the room. If you'll go ahead and stand up and just be recognized real quickly. Our Denver Commission on Cultural Affairs, they're appointed by the mayor, who is also with us today, and you'll have a chance to say hello to you all. These folks do tremendous work on behalf of the city, really thinking about our community holistically and the role that arts and culture play in elevating our community. And they also have the privilege of working with us to improve our public spaces through public art. So they do great work on behalf of the community, and thank you all for being here. So with your participation and support and guidance, also of the Mayor's Office and our Commission on Cultural Affairs, in 2014, Denver Arts and Venues launched Imagine 2020, Denver's first cultural plan in 25 years. How many of you are familiar with Imagine 2020? Yes. Excellent. That's always music to my ears. So we've been working very hard over the last few years to really think about how we implement the plan as a community. And you've contributed your thoughts and ideas to that plan, and for that we sincerely thank you. The reason for the city's cultural plan is the reason that we're all here today. Arts and culture, we know, make a great city. They make a city thrive, and they make its residents proud of this place we call home. And I'm proud to say that in addition to celebrating great arts and cultural talent today, we are also supporting it. So for instance, today's entertainment was brought to you by the Annie Booth Trio. If we can give them all a round of applause. And additionally, the centerpieces and gifts at your table support several local creatives. So here to tell you more about that are Erica Ryder and Jade Berinsky of Hope Tank. You may remember that last year, Hope Tank was the winner of the 2015 Mayor's Awards of Arts and Culture in the Imagine 2020 category. So Jade and Erica, if you want to come up and tell us a little bit about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having us, and congratulations to all of the 2016 winners. This award is a true acknowledgement of your contribution to making Denver inspiring. A little bit about us. As small business owners, we get directly tied to our brands. An example is most people think Erica's name is Hope because of Hope Tank.
It's not.
And most people think my name is Joy because of Joy Lab.
So we have been working with all of these awesome nonprofits and for-profit businesses and cultural organizations, and it really quickly became clear that we could create more impact together. So Hope Tank and Joy Lab got married and had a little baby, and it's called Swag for Good. And Swag for Good is a custom promotional goods provider that creates opportunities for your business or your nonprofit to infuse impact into your marketing budget.
So the gifts on your table, if everyone just looks right in front of you, you've got a partnership between Swag for Good and Arts and Venue. Big shout out to Brooke Dilling for making this happen. We really appreciate it. Yeah, the awesome socks and sticker are by a local business, Axles. So your impact there is supporting a local small business. And your Colorado themed button is from another small business, Badge Bomb. Your impact there is supporting small business. Those are also made in the US.
So there are so many opportunities for collaborations like this, and when we collaborate, it really creates more opportunities for everyone in our city. So a great example is your centerpiece. So these are manufactured here in Denver. So Swag for Good partnered with a local social enterprise, Mile High Workshop. And Mile High Workshop employs people with barriers to employment here and then sets them up for jobs out in the manufacturing world. So if you're excited about this kind of impact opportunity, know that we're a resource for you, and our cards are in your little packet.
So speaking of impact, check out your little card. So everyone has a card that's on top, and it has a very specific call to action. So we would love for everyone today, while you're here, preferably, to do two things. Number one is take a picture of something that you find inspiring about Denver's arts and cultural scene. And the second thing is to post using hashtag Imagine2020. So an example of that would be put on your amazing socks or stick your sticker on your water bottle. Find something that you like and or people that you like, take a picture and then post that. So we're just gonna do it real quick, okay? So everyone get ready. We're gonna take a quick photo. So this is gonna be the group shot, yep. Okay, let's get ourselves in there. Ready? 1, 2, okay. I always think it's awkward when people do this, but then it looks so good after. So I'm inspired.
So some of you also know that we have a campaign going right now that we launched in reaction to some of the things that we're feeling in our community right now. And basically we're challenging people to make videos about what they care about, how they commit to doing something about it, and how other people can join them. So feel free to check it out, and if you feel inspired to do that, you can use it as an example. Then you would get 2 posts in one, and you can also tag Imagine2020. So again, you can just follow us and you'll see what that's all about.
Yeah, thanks again for having us. And we'd like to introduce Tariana Navas Nieves, the Director of Cultural Affairs for Denver Arts and Venues, to share a little bit about the history of today's celebration. Thanks again.
Thank you for pronouncing my name so nicely. I'm Tariana Navas Nieves, Director of Cultural Affairs for the city and Venue Director for here, the McNichols Civic Center building. And in the spirit of Imagine 2020, the mayor of our city annually recognizes organizations and individuals that make significant and lasting contributions to the artistic, cultural, and creative landscape of our city. And I'm proud to say that these awards support Imagine 2020, our cultural plan, and the core 7 vision elements. And those include from collective leadership to accessibility to local talent, especially we can see today, economic development and much more. And it is hard to believe, but this year we're celebrating 30 years of the Mayor's Awards. And in that time, the city has recognized over 100 individuals and organizations that have made a great difference to our city. And I am thrilled that we are celebrating today the 2016 winners of the Mayor's Awards, and I cannot wait for you to see the kind of work that they're doing to support the growth of culture in our city. And now it is my honor to bring to the podium our mayor, our boss, Mayor Michael B. Hancock.
Thank you, Tatiana. Good afternoon, everyone, and what an absolute pleasure to be here this afternoon. Let me do a couple things. I want to acknowledge the presence of several of our members of City Council who are here. Right up front, Councilman Wayne New is here. I understand Councilman Chris Herndon is here as well, and I saw Councilwoman Debbie Ortega. Will you all stand and be acknowledged, please? Thank you so much. I also want to recognize the presence of a good friend who I'm very, very proud of, and I told her she would win her race, and not only did she win, she slaughtered her opponent. I want to recognize State Representative-elect Leslie Herrick. Congratulations, Leslie. I see Annie Booth wrapping up over there. I want to thank you for the lovely music today. Thank you so much. I just returned last night from New Orleans, where our Denver Broncos were successful, and you know, you walk around that city and you really come to understand and appreciate the power of music, right? When you see little 4 or 5-year-old kids popping on plastic containers to entertain all of the tourists who are in town, to the master saxophone player standing on the corner. Anywhere else they'd be performing or making gazillion dollars. In New Orleans, they blend in. It's part of the city the orchestra of the city. And so I really appreciated the music today. Thank you. It puts you in a whole different place. Well done. So we're thrilled to be here to celebrate and honor those who contribute to the artistic and cultural landscape of our great city. You all know and understand the importance that arts play in my family, and I encourage us to keep, of course, the arts a high priority in this community. Just left the wonderfully attended Sustainable Summit taking place at the Sheraton Hotel today, and the keynote speaker talked about the power of the arts in helping to bring great cities together. We want to be sustainable. We got to use our open spaces much better and think creatively how we do that. And of course, bring in the arts, bring recreation together is a way for us to do that. Even today, after what we all are dealing with in our society, arts and culture continue to be a uniting force. So Denver is full of artists and performers filling our galleries and museums and theaters and concert halls and amazing facilities like this space here, the historic McNichol Civic Center building. So we're here today to recognize that our city wouldn't be the vibrant community that it is without the strong participation and support of citizens in the arts. So today I get a chance to thank the panel that selected the award recipients. And let me say this again. I'm gonna try to say the names correctly. So I'm going to apologize in advance. Denver Public Library is easy. Thank you, Denver Public Library. We say lo pushle. Did I do it all right? Pochle. I'll get there. I said Italian. It's not Italian, is it? What is it? Huh? Oh, wow, really?
Aztec language from Mexico. Huitzilin is a hummingbird.
Say it for us correctly.
Huitzilopochtli.
See, man, just right off your tongue, just like that, huh? Some of these letters I have never even seen before in my life. Thank you very much for your participation. Eliza Norzanaya. Close? Norzanaya? Oh man, jack me up. Who wrote this phonetically for me? This is not good. Denver Young Artists Orchestra, how'd I do? Yeah, all right, Dan Manzanares. Do all right? Thank you. Give our panel a round of applause. I also want to recognize Zero Sun Film for creating the videos you will view today in VSA Colorado Access Gallery, specifically artist AJ Kill, Josiah Lopez for the beautiful awards our recipients will receive today. That's stunning. That's worth receiving an award right there. Of course, we want to recognize, as I think Ginger did, the Denver Commission on Cultural Affairs for their leadership and dedication. She already had the commissioner stand, but I simply want to give you a shout out and thank you for your service. And integral to the success of creative enterprise in the cities is Denver Arts and Venues. And he's not here, but we want to celebrate Kent Rice and Ginger White and the amazing team. I see some of the employees here, and they don't get enough love and appreciation. So I'm going to ask the employees of Denver Arts and Venues, it's a small but mighty team who make all this happen in our city. Would you stand and be acknowledged? There they are. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. We take pride in what you do, and you do it every day, so we really appreciate it. Now I'm going to ask Bobby Lefebvre and Stephanie Blake to come on back here and get us started with the awards.
Thank you, Mayor Hancock. We have many awards to give out today, so let's get started. Before we start with our awards, I'd like to say a bit about the awards, which Mayor Hancock also mentioned, including the gallery and the Denver artists who created them. VSA Colorado Access Gallery is an organization dedicated to increasing access to the arts for people with disabilities. The primary focus of Access Gallery is to provide economic opportunities through the visual arts for young people with disabilities who are often locked out of traditional jobs. In addition to gallery shows throughout the year, VSA Colorado Access Gallery has entered the realm of creating corporate art for some of Colorado's most innovative and forward-thinking businesses. Today's awards were created by an unlikely duo in from VSA Colorado Access Gallery. AJ Keel and his mentor at the gallery, Josiah Lopez, create wonderful, expressive urban art scenes, each taking on a life of their own. AJ is on the autism spectrum and likes to represent his main characters with stoplights for heads. AJ has a great love of trucks and trains and knows the RTD bus system better than some of the people who designed it. Josiah is one of VSA's best-known teaching artists and has been creating murals in and around Denver for nearly 20 years. AJ and Josiah's first collaborative show at Access Gallery nearly sold out, and they had buyers for their work from California and Washington, D.C.
All right, so our first award, yeah, give it up for them. So our first award today is the Youth Arts Award. This award honors an individual 17 or younger who has made a significant difference and impact in the community through the arts, or an organization that has significantly impacted the lives of children in the city and county of Denver through the arts. Our nominees this year were Anna Krutzinger and Lewis Miller, Art from Ashes, Denver Public Library, After School is Cool, Inside the Orchestra, and Platform. The 2016 Youth Arts and Culture Award goes to Denver Public Library, After School is Cool.
It is an after-school program located in 5 neighborhoods that some people would call them at-need neighborhoods, but I say they're at promise.
It is a program for 8 to 12-year-olds. And I think all of the neighborhoods where we have After School is Cool, or we call it ASIC, there hasn't historically been a lot of after-school activities for the kids to go to. We're really giving kids in our neighborhoods an opportunity to try all of these things in the arts, and I think it gives them a really safe and secure place to come and try new things. They don't necessarily have these opportunities otherwise because of barriers.
So many kids do not have a lot of opportunities after school. The places were selected according to a report that the city did a number of years ago, and the 3 factors that they were looking at were socioeconomic levels in those neighborhoods, crimes by and against children in the 3 to 6 p.m. hour. That's a really dangerous hour for young people because a lot of them are home alone after school. The other one was the opportunities that are in that neighborhood for young people. The good thing that we're starting to see is that a number of the neighborhoods we've been in, there are beginning to be more funded opportunities for kids after school.
We have really expanded what we have done. We have just tons of local artists that will come in and work with our kids. We have incorporated STEM, so it has evolved so much.
Arts and crafts give kids a chance to be creative when they don't get much of that anymore. The arts aren't offered in school as much as they used to be. A lot of kids struggle with the idea that there's only one right way to do something. We really encourage them to make it their own decorate it differently, do it differently. So the materials are there. We encourage them to be creative.
I feel like they really believe that this library is theirs. And, from 4 o'clock on, this library absolutely changes. Really, the relationships they create also with our youth assistant, it's someone who they can look up to.
I like working with kids because in the future I want to be a teacher or a probation officer. So I was like, okay, this is a good start, just to see how I interact with kids. And ever since then, I liked it.
It's the kids who make it. They are getting so much out of this program. That is like the one thing that we always talk about at the end of the year, the stories that happen with our kids.
Often, as they're doing their art, as they're doing whatever activity is set up, they're talking about their lives. And a lot of these kids are sharing things that they don't freely share with other people, but they feel that it's a safe, comfortable environment. And a lot of them definitely confide in the youth assistants like Jaden.
I've never, been recognized like that. I mean, I've been recognized, but not to the point like we're the mayor, sees the good that we're doing. It was pretty exciting when I found out.
We've been doing a lot of work for a long time, and we don't get recognized for it very often. The recognition comes from knowing that we've made an impact in these kids' lives, but to actually have other people notice our work is awesome, just awesome.
Receiving the award for Denver Public Library After School is Cool is Corey Jackamore, Youth Services Manager.
Got it.
Wow, that's the first I saw the video and I kind of got teared out myself. As you know now, my name is Corey Jackamore. I'm the Youth Services Manager with the Denver Public Library. I'm also the Program Manager for this program. I'm going to give a little bit of a different kind of speech because I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine for a minute that you're 8 years old, you're 10, or you're 11. Imagine for a minute that you like school, or you hate school, or you just really don't give a darn about it one way or the other. Imagine that you're sad because your very favorite person in the whole wide world, your grandmother, is dying. Or imagine that you're really mixed up because no one wants to play with you at school because they think you're a bully, but it's really your brother who's the bully, not you. Or imagine that you're smart, everyone calls you teacher's pet, and that makes you mad. You're in luck if you live or go to school in the Athmar Park, Green Valley Ranch, Northeast Park Hill, Elaria Swansea, or Westwood neighborhoods, because you can go to After School is Cool at your neighborhood library. There, Miss Mary, who was in the video, may ask you how your grandmother is feeling today. Or Miss Charlie, who works at the Athmar Park branch, may ask you how school was. They'll probably already know your name if you've gone to ASIC before, but if you're new, they'll make sure you feel welcome and safe, and then you get busy. You may be playing an electronic or a board game. You may be doing a STEM activity, but you may be doing your very favorite thing, and that's art. You could be sculpting, painting, drawing, creating. You may be using brand new colored pencils, digital cameras, iPads, yarn, leaves and sticks, recycled materials, canvases, chalk, ink, you name it. But whatever you're doing, you're having fun. Expressing yourself, learning with others, experimenting on your own, feeling safe, being known, goofing around with old friends, and making new ones. And that's what After School is Cool is all about. Giving youth a chance for at least 1 hour a day after school to be known, respected, encouraged, challenged, and loved. Thank you for this Mayor's Award for Excellence in Arts and Culture. We couldn't appreciate it more, but we'd still do this work without any awards because we love it. Thank you to Chandra Jones and Erin McLean, who wrote the heartwarming, heartfelt application that got us this award. Thank you to Miss Charlie, Miss Mary, Miss Kristen, Miss Kaylee, and Miss Heidi for meeting these youth where they are, for setting boundaries for them, but for always letting them know how very important they are. Thank you to the 5 youth assistants, and you saw Jaden in the video. They're neighborhood high school students who act as role models for these young people, who keep us at our 10-to-1 youth to staff ratio, and who build the relationships that many of these youth need so badly. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Ken and Joyce Luff, who have believed in this program since 2007 and have funded it very generously through their Luff Family Foundation. They believe in our youth, they believe in us, and we are grateful.
Congratulations. Our next award this afternoon is the Arts and Culture Impact Award. This award acknowledges an individual or organization that has made a significant and lasting impact in the city and county of Denver. This category requires that the nominee have at least 10 years of history in the arts in Denver. This year, our nominees were Art from Ashes, CM Dance, Denver Trolley, East Montclair Neighborhood Association, Huitzilopochtli Azteca Dance, did I do it? Okay, good. John Madden Jr., Maria Mosina, Mile High Freedom Band, Play On, DBA of Executive Arts, LLC, Tracy Well and Jill Hadley Hooper, Visit Denver, and VSA Colorado Access Gallery.
And the winner of this year's Arts and Culture Impact Award is Huitzilopochtli Azteca Dance.
There's something about that drum beat that draws you to them. The more you go and the more you're around it, the more it attracts them.
The prayers and the culture of their people are carried through the drum and the dance and the music.
We dance in a circle. The circle represents the universe, and the circle is a circle of life. And in a circle, nobody is more, nobody's less. We're all equally important.
Yo vine en el 1969 a Denver. Empecé a danzar en las bibliotecas, en los hospitales de niños deshabilitados.
Our Capitan originally came from Mazatlan, Mexico. And there was a group of young dancers here that wanted to learn about the traditions in the dance. So Raul began to teach about 40 years ago.
We started out pretty small, and now I'll bet we're 30 to 40 people.
And it is an all-inclusive, multicultural, diverse grupo because you sort of mesh together the Mexicanos and the Chicanos into this group, Huitzilopochtli.
Some of what originally drew me in was a lack of identity of my own self. When I felt the rhythms of the drum, I started to see the beauty of this and the healing of it.
We do a lot of cultural activities throughout the year. People that need us to come in and to help educate their young people or motivate them or inspire them.
I really see this group growing. There's people always asking if they can come dance.
And I see a lot more ability for the group and for the philosophy to share with others in the community.
His impact is pretty massive for one person to have kept that going for 40 years.
Pues es como mi abuelo me dijo, sigue practicando, sigue danzando para que la gente, ahí vas a saber cuál es la gente que te va a seguir, cuál gente le va a gustar.
They don't charge for people to come and learn, and
You could be lonely and not know anybody in Denver, and all you have to do is show up to a practice on a Thursday night and you'll have a family of 40 people.
Para nosotros es vida la danza y así nos vamos a morir.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Huitzilopochtli Dance.
That's right, that's right. That one? Yes, I do. Yeah.
Sometimes I get a little nervous on the spot, huh? We didn't prepare a big speech or anything, you know, we generally speak from the heart. As our traditions and a lot of our dances, they try to teach that, instill that with the children. So one thing about the dancing is that it is a natural way that everybody learns to move together, you know. We learn to move with the rhythms and follow each other in the steps. You know, we take turns who has the chance to lead a dance. And so everyone else is just expected to kind of watch and follow along. And the more and more that you do that, the more and more we keep dancing, then the more harmonized that we all are together. And it's a great example for the youth that come and other people that join in the dance, because it symbolically teaches you how to get along with fellow human beings and our fellow citizens and all that. So we very much instill that in our dancing, and we're very honored to be here and to finally I see my Capitan being a little emotional there watching that video. You know, it's a long time, since 1969 that he came to Denver, and he's done a lot of the work in the community without any asking for anything in return. And I'm sure he's very, very honored, and we very much appreciate the chance that we have. We continue to work in the community in different capacities as well. Larry's on the board for the school, which Colorado Statewide Program, Parent Coalition. I work for Sisters of Color, which is United for Education, HIV prevention. Renee Fajardo, she works for the Journey Through Our Heritage. We're at the campus. So if anything, you know, I was thinking of leaving, maybe teaching you guys one word that we, in our language, is Toltecayot. Can you guys say that? Toltecayo. And it means the essence of artistry, because art is the highest form of human expression. You know, in all of our means, human beings are expressing and trying to explain to other people and give out some kind of a message. And it is through art that we do that the best. You know, all the words that we can say, and some of us are eloquent speakers, but really sometimes the artistry, you know, the imagery, the symbols, the sounds, those things speak volumes. And so, Toltecayo, go forward. Thank you.
We would also like to thank the Denver community and the youth of Denver for joining us in our dance. So thank you all. Thank you, Mayor Hancock, and thank you, Brooke.
Felicidades. Next, we are presenting the Arts and Culture Innovation Award. This award recognizes an individual or organization that is breaking new ground in the arts and whose innovative contributions to the arts have been significant in 2016.
This year's nominees were Downtown Denver Business Improvement District, Downtown Denver Partnership, East Montclair Neighborhood Association, Inside the Orchestra, Wendy Lesko, Bonnie Bray Alley Art, Dan Manzanares, Elisa Narajnia. I'm so sorry, Elisa. With Denver Online High School, the Playground Ensemble, Think 360 Arts for Learning, Warm Cookies of the Revolution, and the Western States Arts Federation, WESTAF. And the good news is I get to try this pronunciation one more time. Our 2016 Arts and Culture Innovation Award winner is Elisa Narijnia with Denver Online High School. I think I did a little bit better that time. Congratulations, Elisa.
It's exciting where we've come from to where we're kind of headed with Elisa's work at Denver Online. So she started with us a little over 1.5 years ago, and that's when the art program started at Denver Online, is through the work that she's done.
It was an opportunity for me to be really creative and start something from my experience working in creative fields and being an illustrator, kind of making an art program that's effective and also accessible.
I love this school a lot. I had really bad experiences at my elementary school and my middle schools and stuff. I've always loved drawing since I was like really little because my grandma's an artist. I didn't think there would be an art program here until like one of the teachers here told me that there was an art program, so I dropped one of my classes for art. I can get in contact with Ms. Narijnia anytime I need. She gives like the best feedback I've probably ever gotten from any of my art teachers ever.
I mean, in the past, you know, teaching in a classroom of 30 kids, maybe more, it's just really difficult to give everybody the feedback that they need. I mean, I could look at a piece and a million things will go through my head, but it's not possible when you have 40 or even 80 minutes to kind of give that real-time feedback. Whereas with the Schoology system, a kid submits an assignment, I have time to kind of reflect on it a little bit, think about what I'm gonna say, give them that feedback, and then they have it. They can refer to it. A lot of people think of art as being something that you have to do in a studio with an instructor in front of you. Honestly, I think this is the best way because of that individual attention that I can give.
The graphic design class I'm taking is my favorite class. I really enjoy the work we're assigned, and if I have questions about the work, I can really easily send her a message and she answers pretty quick. And it's really nice that whenever I submit a project, I get really in-depth feedback on not necessarily what I need to change about the project, but things on it that I can improve in the future to make my future projects better.
Elisa's important because she's showing students not just a pathway to becoming a good artist. She's really showing them that there are careers in art, there are explorations in art. The first semester she was here, she immediately got us a partnership with the Denver Art Society. We've done an art show there every spring for the past 2 years.
Ms. Narijnia told me, she said there's an art show and you can join it if you want to. And that was an automatic yes for me. My grandma was so proud to see my art hung up in an actual gallery. I worked really hard on it. I like to say it's my heart.
Even though we're an online school, just getting kids out into the public, participating in the Denver Art Society show, meeting other artists besides myself, also giving students access to classes like digital art, web design. I want careers in the arts to be accessible to students, so I try to incorporate as much of what I know into my classes, the things that maybe they wouldn't have in a traditional school.
She has practical experience in the art world, which I think is a powerful thing. And it's not just about art, it's about how do you put art in context of the rest of the world, and Elisa does that for our kids.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elisa Narijnia from Denver Online High School.
Wow. Thank you. It's such an honor to be here and be recognized by the city of Denver. So a little bit of background about myself. I was born and raised in the New York metropolitan area, and I received my bachelor's degree in communications design at Pratt Institute back in 2007. My focus was on illustration. And for about six months after I finished undergrad, I worked as a corporate graphic designer. And it didn't take me that long to realize it wasn't for me, kind of being in the confines of the 9-to-5 office type situation. So I wanted to be more involved in the community. So I decided to go back to school. I got my master's degree from the College of New Rochelle in 2010. After a few years of teaching high school art, graphic design, and web design in the Bronx, along with working as a freelance illustrator, I felt that I needed to get a better understanding of the world. My husband, Ilya, felt the same. He was working as a corporate financial analyst, and it was starting to wear him down. So we made that decision together. We decided that the best thing for us would be to take a hiatus and travel for 1 year. We found ourselves in Eastern Europe, Southeast Asia, and India. I continued to work remotely as a freelance illustrator during that entire time, basically drawing by hand, coloring things digitally, scan, send. We made it to 10 countries in total. We had the chance to visit many schools. We met a lot of amazing teachers, administrators, artists, and people in general. Students too. It really shaped the way I feel about addressing the needs of every student in our diverse city. After our trip, we realized how little of our own country we had experienced outside of the East Coast. After looking into several options, Denver stood out, mainly because of the proximity to the mountains and abundant sunshine. Denver Online has given me the opportunity to explore what it means to be what I like to think of as the art teacher of the future. I often get asked, how do you teach art online? I can't imagine doing that. But I like to think of it as better in some ways. Working remotely, students can access such a large variety of courses based on their specific needs and wants right from their home, anytime. I've had the opportunity to give individualized one-on-one attention to both the student who hasn't drawn anything beyond a stick figure and might be too embarrassed to show their work to their peers, along with the student who's pretty much already a professional artist and would feel bored in a traditional art class. I want to thank our principal, Ian Jones, who encourages creativity and curriculum building, which allows me to really put forth my own experience and knowledge to good use. Jennifer Wiebesek for supporting me in all of my creative endeavors and the work that I've done with students. Casey Sintek for having the, Casey Sintek for having the confidence to nominate me for this award. And I also wanted to mention Denver Art Society for allowing me to host student shows at the gallery and allowing them to display their own creativity for the community to see. I also want to thank Denver Public Schools for taking the initiative to offer such innovative online classes. And everybody at Denver Online, thank you so much.
I'm being told that our videos this afternoon, they're not syncing correctly. However, after today, whatever syncing issue that we're having, they'll be posted online and they won't have the sync issue that you may be seeing this afternoon. Our next award is for Global Arts and Culture. As Denver positions itself as a global creative capital, it is only proper to celebrate the creative people that put Denver on the world stage. The Global Arts and Culture Award is presented to an individual or organization that has brought Denver's arts and culture to the national or world stage. Nominees for this category have received national or international recognition through media or grant dollars. This year's nominees are the Denver Young Artists Orchestra and Family. And the 2016 winner of the Global Arts Award is Denver Young Artists Orchestra.
There's something different, there's a different energy about young people who are approaching music for the first time. There's something that's really electric about that.
They are motivated, they are disciplined, and they really, really want to be there.
The quality of music that is coming out of our musicians rivals professional orchestras across the country.
The Denver Young Artists Orchestra is actually a set of 5, and then we have the Young Artists Orchestra itself, which is the top orchestra.
There are kids who practice 5 and 6 hours a night. They're tremendously talented.
I make time to do it because it's, the most important thing to me right now. I mean, at my high school, you don't really have many kids who are into classical music, but being a part of a youth orchestra, I have other kids who understand it, want to talk to me about it. It's really cool.
Denver Young Artists Orchestra does travel other places. They've been to Europe and other parts of the world. And then most recently, we took the orchestra for the very first time to Carnegie Hall in New York City.
I'm not a musician, but even I know that playing in Carnegie Hall is an experience that you can't beat in the U.S.
After finding out, we were all very excited. This was a place where people dream of playing, and being able to have the privilege of playing there at such a young age is fantastic.
Other people that were there also said, hey, Denver's not just an outdoor city. They're not just a sports city. They've got culture and art, and they're producing some very fine musicians.
It was just really exciting to see the recognition for these young people who have worked so hard.
Takes a tremendous amount of effort over many, many, many years, but it's their passion. The kids are learning to not just play great works of music, but they're learning to be team members, to collaborate with each other.
As a young musician, it really allows them to really get involved in something that's just bigger than themselves.
It really helps them not only for their university studies, but really on through life.
I don't feel like another youth orchestra in the state, or maybe even in the country, would be able to give me what DYO has given me. I'm very grateful to have this experience.
If you want to see young people do amazing things, this is the place to come see it.
I think the future is really bright for DYAO. These are truly incredible human beings. I know that they're really going to make a difference in this community and in the world.
Accepting the award for Denver Young Artists Orchestra is Executive Director Kelly Waltrip and Music Director Wes Kinney.
Wow. Thank you, Mayor Hancock, distinguished panel, for choosing us for this honor. I'd also like to thank the Commission for Cultural Affairs, City Council, and Denver Arts and Venues for all that you do to advance and support the arts in Denver. I'm a relatively newcomer to the city and this arts community, and it's been just wonderful. The Denver Young Artists Orchestra is proud to have been a part of the cultural fabric of Denver for almost 40 years. For the very first time this past summer, the Denver Young Artists Orchestra had the opportunity to perform on the stage of Carnegie Hall in New York City. I'd like to thank the board of directors for believing in this vision. This opportunity is not just important for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for young people who have always dreamed of this. It's also important because these students represented Denver and the state of Colorado to a national and an international audience.
We are extremely proud of what our students accomplished on the stage and in rehearsals. These young people are working alongside each other, learning how to do many things that will serve them throughout their lives. Among them, and parents, keep in mind that our young musicians are mostly adolescents. Listen to this. Concentrate for long periods of time. Communicate without an iPhone. Listen to each other. Follow directions carefully. take on and succeed with challenging projects, explore history, both ancient and recent, and understand emotional depth. As I've told them many times, you cannot act cool if you want to perform Brahms. The emotions have to be worn out on the sleeve. They sacrifice a large amount of time on the weekends for the privilege of playing alongside with other gifted musicians. They bring beauty, passion, and excellence to stages and to audiences in Denver, in New York, and around the world. As individuals and as a team, they represent that this region has more than a championship-winning football team to its credit.
Even long after they graduate, DYAO alumni will be great ambassadors for the city. Many of these musicians will go on to study at top universities and conservatories here in Colorado, around the country, and also abroad. Some will focus exclusively on music, and many will take the skills that they learned and apply them to successful careers in many other areas. Their musical training and experiences here will help them to be more inclusive, empathetic, and influential citizens. One of my favorite quotes by Hans Christian Andersen says, "Where words fail, music speaks." This group will also be our future generation of performers, audience members, and supporters. If these students and others honored today are an indication of Denver's future as we imagine 2020 and beyond, I believe we're in good hands. Thank you.
Our final award is the Imagine 2020 Award. The Imagine 2020 Award is presented to an individual or organization that exemplifies the vision and goals of Denver's cultural plan through their programs and initiatives. This individual or organization is setting an example to aspire to as we imagine Denver in the year 2020. This year's nominees were Dan Manzanares, Kaivan Kalatabari, and Walk Denver Art on Colfax.
The 2016 recipient of the Imagine 2020 Award is Dan Manzanares.
Oh, Dan, where should I start? He is high energy. He loves what he does. He loves Lighthouse. Lighthouse loves him. It's a mutual love affair.
I really admire Dan's passion and commitment to sharing writing with all sorts of different people. I think one of the goals of Imagine 2020 is to create more spaces for writing in Denver, and I think that Dan absolutely does that.
He's the guy who's doing free writing sessions here in the house for people who want to just sort of practice writing. He's also sort of the leader in some of our social service programs, so he's really all about getting people to sit down and get words on the page, and he's great at it.
It was a very busy year, and it was a very special year. I mean, we partnered with so many organizations this year that we hadn't partnered with before.
Dan is fantastic to work with. The very first project that I worked with him on was a Write Denver walk.
Write Denver is a Write the City project. We want people to be able to read the city and write the city. We have created these literary art installations, so people, they're literally reading the city as they walk to work. They can also attend some of these free generative workshops as writers.
There are these street signs hanging outside on the gate of Lighthouse right now that actually came from that collaboration that Write Denver did with the Denver Voice. It's a bunch of poems and little snippets of writing that people wrote from that walk.
We're a collection of non-rotating paintings, and so to keep things fresh, we like to come up with new programs. And so that's kind of what led me to Dan. He saw things in the paintings that I hadn't really noticed before, and that all translated into some really cool writing prompts that he could prepare for our visitors. So really it was, quiet time to think and to engage with the art, look more closely at the art, and then work on their writing. They would then stand in front of the painting and share what they had written with the rest of the group. And that was kind of that magical, really neat moment where the paintings kind of came to life in a new way.
So many of the collaborations this year, I'd never been to those places, but through those partnerships, I feel that Denver is like this unlimited, boundless city. We're trying to spread the pursuit of literature to everyone and anyone.
He's the type of guy who will shout it from the rooftop that literature matters, creative writing can be transformative, and it's something that we need to celebrate here in Denver.
He really puts so much attention and effort into creating an experience that is both accessible and that's something that people can share too.
The more we know about each other, the more we can work together and communicate Denver's cultural plan going into 2020. It's very exciting. I think all the other cities should be extremely envious of what we have and what we're trying to do.
Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Dan Manzanares.
All right, hello everybody. I want to say thank you to all the other nominees and the recipients. I mean, I am floored and I am honored to be amongst this group. So thank you all. It's incredible. Yes, thank you so much. Also, thank you so much to Denver Arts and Venues, the Denver Commission on Cultural Affairs, as well as Mayor Hancock. I didn't prepare any notes. I kind of want to speak from the heart as well, I guess. I'm from Denver. I'm a native. I went to Phillips Elementary. I went to Smiley Middle School. I went to Manual. I went to East. And so to bring home this award to home, being homegrown, is just, it's the best feeling. It's like a dream. It's like a dream come true. Lighthouse Writers Workshop, as well as the City of Denver have given me everything in my life, my family, my son, my career. I started off as a volunteer at Lighthouse and pitched my job multiple times before they finally accepted that offer and then let me work. And that was 6 years ago, and here I am now. And again, it's just like a dream. It's a dream. When I told my son that I had won the award, he really kind of put everything in perspective for me. He said, "Elephant song, Dada." So that felt good as well. So I think that finally what I want to say is that a little bit of my process is like winning the award was gone through my head. It was kind of like, just so feeling so honored, and then also relief, because the year was it was a really hard, long year, but it was now so worth it, and to be recognized. And then, but what's happened since then is like I feel like, and then also complacency. Like it was like, now I can put my foot off the pedal a little bit. That has since changed, and I am using this to a call for action for me. And I want to, if I can, just everything that was mentioned in there, the big one for me is like communication. If I can communicate to myself better and then use that to communicate to the people who come to workshops and help them communicate that message back home and maybe to the neighborhoods and then maybe to other cities and so on, that's where my work is now going. Okay, so thank you so much. I love you all.
I like I could stay here all day and listen to these inspiring nominees and award winners, but we're drawing the awards show to a close. So thank you so much for attending our awards luncheon today. Congratulations to all the nominees and recipients of the 2016 Mayor's Awards for Excellence in Arts and Culture. We so appreciate your contributions that make Denver such a wonderful place to live.
This may be the most important part of the afternoon. I want to remind everybody to please wear your socks that are on the table right now. So give it up for the socks. Yeah, pretty cool. Be sure to continue to be inspired and share what inspires you about Denver, and continue to please support the implementation of Imagine 2020, Denver's cultural plan. Please drive carefully and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.